Good afternoon, everyone. This is Keith Stum with the National Weather Service of Peachtree City. This is a quick video hit for the severe storm risk later today and this evening. What you see on the screen here is the latest Storm Prediction Center Day 1 outlook. You can see that they have introduced a level 3 or enhanced risk across a good portion of east central Georgia, with a level 2 risk extending across much of the western and southern part of Georgia. That risk is primarily for wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour or greater than 60 miles an hour. However, there is a conditional risk for storms to produce winds up to 80 miles an hour with the instability that we're looking at in the atmosphere today. The other risk today will be the intense lightning with any storms that develop. We are expecting some pretty prolific lightning as a result of some of the storms tapping into the instability that's in the atmosphere later today. This graphic just, again, highlights that wind probability being greatest across that area, that they have added the enhanced risk, although the risk is still fairly high for a good chunk of Georgia for the remainder of today and tonight. And talking about the instability, this is just a quick view of this surface-based CAPE, we call it. Values that you're looking at over Georgia are pockets of over 6,000. Just to give you some perspective, those values are sort of the top of the chart for what we see in the summertime, any time of the summer. Going back historically in all of the samplings that we've done, it's rare for us to get values that high. And correspondingly, we're looking at some of the values in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. They're very high for this time of year, for our region of the country for this time of year. So those things combined give us some clues as to how unstable the atmosphere actually is, and correspondingly what the end result will be when storms actually tap into some of the energy that's available to them. So it gives us some confidence that severe storms are likely if storms can actually tap into it. So let's take a look at a little bit of the timing. There are some discrepancies in the models, and there's several what-if scenarios. The first one will be this particular model, again, initiating storms maybe across northern Georgia, 5, 6 o'clock. But more importantly, you see this one starting to develop maybe more of a complex of storms over South Carolina that organizes into a line and works west-southwestward. So these storms will be coming from the northeast, which is an unusual direction. But nonetheless, if something like this happens, we would be looking at more of an organized wind threat or widespread wind threat associated with that complex of storms that comes at us. Even though the individual storms that develop, like what you're seeing here across North Georgia, would also pose a wind risk with them as well, because they're tapping into that instability I mentioned previously. Here's a different model. Again, just looking at a different model, a different perspective. This one, again, getting to about 6 o'clock, you can see it's starting to develop storms across northern Georgia, across the mountains, also in South Carolina. And as we go through time, maybe some organization down through the metro, and then working south into southern Georgia by late this evening into midnight. Again, each one of these storms, whether it be organized or not, would pose a severe wind risk that we had mentioned. And then the last model I'm going to show, and this one's more of a zoom in on the region. I'm going to get to about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We start to see the almost measles look to the thunderstorms across both South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Each one of these cells, again, would pose that wind risk. And then we see them progress back to the southwest and eventually get down across the southern part of Georgia overnight tonight into the early morning. Last thing I want to show is the lightning. The same model that I just showed you just in the last slide, basically depicting where the thunderstorms are developing, where it sees thunderstorms developing, but more importantly, the lightning flash density, or the amount of lightning associated with each one of those thunderstorms that develop. And you can see in this particular case, there's a storm where it's pegging off the chart, or the top of the chart, on the lightning flash density. So we would expect some pretty prolific lightning with any of the storms that develop later today. And then the last thing I'll show you with this one is again, to give us confidence in the wind, this is the wind gust swath. And what we're looking at are these little circles. That gives us confidence that it's trying to pick out where these downbursts and microbursts are occurring with any of the thunderstorms. So it gives us confidence that if you're under one of these, the wind potential is really high.